Hi, kitty cats. I am Amethysta Herrick, your hostess for the Purplepaw, a weekly discussion from your friends at the Purplepaw clan, exploring the intersection of identity and gender, sexuality and intimacy, and community and spirituality. This content right here is being brought to you by supporters of the Purplepaw clan. If you are already a supporter, first of all, let me thank you for your ongoing support. You know very well that subscribers not only receive new content directly to their inboxes as soon as it publishes, but are also able to interact with every contributor directly, and that includes me. And if you don't want to interact with me, I'm not sure what's wrong with you. But if you would like to support shows just like this one, as well as other podcasts, videos, and written articles by our contributors, I hope you will consider subscribing using the links that you're going to find down there in the show notes. All right, I am very excited and honored to be speaking with my guest today, Mary Kathleen Mehuron. Hello, Mary Kathleen.
Hello. So good to see you.
You are just a delight already.
We're having fun already.
I know, we're 20 minutes. We've been talking 20 minutes and I finally hit go. This is going to be so much fun. So Mary Kathleen is an author and an educator and also an artist. Her latest book is called Down on the South Beach Drag, and it explores, I'm calling it queer self-discovery. I know you've chosen to write out the acronym, and I honor you for that. I like using the word queer, and I have a reason for that. Maybe we'll get into it, but Down on the South Beach Drag. So I'm going to come out and say this. I have not read the book yet. It does look like a phenomenal story of self-discovery, and so this is why we're talking.
Yes.
Let me start off. I love sort of origin stories. I'd love to know, so you talk a lot about self-discovery, and specifically in the latest book, but also on your website, there's a lot about identity, figuring out who we are. Can you tell me what happened? Just what focused you on that? What were some early experiences from your early life?
I always say to people that are Catholic but are not of Irish descent, there's Catholicism and there's us. I was born into a conservative culture where the existence of mortal sin, do you know what mortal sin is? It's like,
oh, sure.
There's no getting out of it. You're going to hell. And the model that was held up of what men are supposed to be like and what women are supposed to be like. And I'm going to remind people, to this day, you're not supposed to have sex unless you're married and trying to have a child.
Oh, that's true. Wait, that's not a mortal sin, though, is it?
Excuse me?
Is that a mortal sin to have sex for recreation?
Oh, yes. Oh, my God. And now remember, everybody, children out there, I was born in 1955. Nobody even had a TV in 1955. So
sure.
What we were told, and I went to Catholic school, what we were told by the priest was, he was God's representative on earth. And if he told you that's how it had to be, undoing that kind of dogma took a lifetime for me.
Oh, I'm sure.
So Maeve, my character, she knows she's not the same. She just knows it. She's watching the other girls as they get to sort of high school age, and they're all gaga over the football quarterback, and she's like, I don't get it. I don't get it. And she becomes, her passion is to be a photographer. And this is when you used film, when crafting images was hard.
Right.
And she spent, her own money. She earned half of the darkroom cost working, and her dad found the other half.
Okay.
And so her formative years, she was the photographer for everything. And she was not a part of my culture at that time, was that the boys went to college and the girls did not, because there wasn't enough money to go around, and you were going to get married anyway. Your job was to be a good wife and mother. That's your only job on earth. Yeah. And so my character, Maeve, she knows she's different. She knows she has to have a career. She craves an education. And her local priest, who's a very good friend, who's Father Murphy, by the way, he sees a contest where if you win the contest, you're going to get to go to the School of Visual Arts in Manhattan.
Sure.
She also knows, even though she's rarely been in the city, as we say, where I come from, the city, she knows there's other opportunities, there are other kinds of people, other populations that she wants to find out about.
Right.
One of the things she does is she figures out how to work the library system. And she discovers Diane Arbus and Robert Mapplethorpe and Andy Warhol.
Okay.
And she had to bring a note from her parents that she was allowed to see these things, but she just forged the note herself.
Okay.
And the library could access the magazines and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so where can she afford to go and take arresting subjects, photographs of arresting subjects? The only place she could afford and think of was Asbury Park, New Jersey.
Sure.
It was in decline. It was a dangerous place, but it was filled with people of every type in plain sight on the boardwalk. And so somehow she manages to talk her parents into working there in the summer of her 18th year. So she's got 90 days to take 6 photographs that will win the contest. And if she doesn't, she's going back home to follow the path that her mother wants her on.
Yeah.
And she meets Georgie, who is
Georgie, tell me more.
Yeah, well, you know, I thought about you and I were talking about our early lives. I don't mean to be a bummer, but this is the truth. I was abandoned
my
as a
goodness.
teenager. Yeah.
Okay,
So
that is a bummer.
it was a bummer. It was terrifying. I mean, I had to figure out how to make a living. I never graduated from high school, but what I did do was work nights and manage to cobble together a college degree, one course at a time. And living in various parts of the United States and so forth. But I'm thinking I'm losing my track here a little bit. That living like that, living in poor, where you just rent a room among marginalized and disaffected. I was marginalized and disaffected by my poverty.
Sure.
But I did stood out, you know, being so young. I was surrounded by people of color, you see, we didn't even have the word gay yet. So now I can say LGBTQIA2 plus. We didn't have any of those words. So, but I could see that people were being bullied and passed over for good jobs and so forth because of who they were. And yet what my unique experience is that these were the very people who protected me, who took care of me.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was saying to you, when you love someone, there's no room to hate them. I don't care what names they get called.
Right.
And this was my life. And so I had experienced all types of folks. Any questions about that? That's a lot.
I think that's all beautiful. So the oh my gosh. Because so I'm getting this. So you were ultimately you end up marginalized yourself. And I think this is because one of the questions I wrote down, you know, on your website it says you're married, you have a husband, you have 3 sons. We were talking earlier, and you wrote a story. You wrote a queer story, and I've got to figure it might be difficult to identify with people. You are not, I think, is all I'm going to say. And I'm not trying to say that in an exclusionary way to go, Mary Kathleen, thanks very much, but you're not in my community. But I am curious, how do you write that? I think now I'm going, well, you had a marginalized upbringing.
I have a mission with this book.
Okay, tell me.
All right, I have a couple. But one is certainly, I understand. I have 3 children. I'm married to the pillar of our little town here. It's a very small pond. But why assume? Why assume that, I don't know, what is it about me that looks like I would not be open to love when it finds me?
Forgive me. Sorry.
No, I'm not asking you to apologize because it happens all the time.
But you just said that and I went, shit. I was like, you're right. And now I'm like, I'm tearing up. I'm like, you're right. I just othered you. I can't even believe that. I can't believe that. I
want to say, I'm not going to name names. I don't want to embarrass anybody.
Okay.
Now, part of it may be that I have rejected playing that role, that whatever mother and wife role. And maybe I draw friends that are varied and open, but the folks in my life across 7 decades that I've known well enough that they're honest with me, many people have had many experiences and have had all kinds of folks, from crushes, maybe not a full-blown love affair, but maybe a full-blown love affair. So I searched my life when I was planning this book. I searched back those 7 decades and thought, because what I hear from the other half in America is it's a choice. You're making a choice. Okay, so I thought about who did I know and really care for that it was not a choice. And I knew a boy who was intersex who I had a mad crush on. I mean, I was too young. It wasn't like we were sexually intimate, but I'll tell you, he was just such a spectacular human being. And I thought, I'm going to write about Georgie and create someone you have to love.
Sure.
And I have to say, I think I did it because I hear a lot about, I want to meet Georgie.
And that's the mission. When you create a character you have to love, you can't hate him. And that it's
That's
an
right.
inroad to going, okay, there's the rest of the community that you got to bring in. Do you mind if I go off on a quick tangent?
No, please.
I mentioned that I used the word queer now, and I didn't want to. When not initially. When I transitioned, I started meeting people, and they were saying queer, and I presumably remember, like when I was growing up, queer was a slur. You didn't say that. You got the crap beaten out of you if you said something like that, called somebody that. When I started transition, I met people, I have known lesbians, I've known gay men, I've known, bisexual people, transgender people, pansexual people. I've known plenty. It turns out I have an intersex characteristic. I mean, I know a lot of these people, and I never saw anybody as different. And so I like the word, I'm using the word queer now, because the way I see queer is that that's somebody who's rejected some social norm. I'm putting a period there. That's it. If you reject a social norm, I believe that's the definition of queer, which makes the community pretty dang big, doesn't it?
It's huge.
Right?
It's huge. If you just accept that each of us, I'm a woman of faith. I believe in God, and He made us all different for a reason. So,
yes.
there is no average. Average is like an illusion.
Yes, right. And it really comes down more to what does a community accept and what does a community reject.
Right.
Social norms is where I'm going with that. And so that was my little tangent to say that I've used the word queer because if we spell out every letter in an acronym, or if we have to go, well, this is an Irish Catholic person, this is a Roman Catholic person, I don't know if that exists still, but if you have to spell all these things out, you end up continuing to other. And it's a little ironic that I said, hey, you're other, how did you get into this community? Only to tell you I use this word because I think it gets rid of all othering. Because I think if you look, our president wears makeup, right? I mean, we know this. There's no doubt. Our president's wearing makeup. That's a rejection of a social norm. People around him have clearly had gender affirming surgery. People who have had breast augmentation, people who have had facelifts and whatnot. These are rejections of social norms, or possibly you might say leaning into them. But anyway, so my point was just going to be, I think, this is where I was going to go, is to say that I truly appreciate that mission, because the mission is to say, when you love somebody, you can't hate them. And I think that's beautiful.
And drawing on my experience with an intersex boy, you can't argue with it. It is part of God's bounty. Right. Father Murphy is a character, and he talks, but he says it's part of God's bounty. We have no problem with cherry tomatoes that are 8 million different colors, but we see a place where, or anything that grows, or any animal that lives has such wide variation. But we're living in a culture now. I really thought we were there, I thought we were there. I've been through everything, the civil rights, women's movement. And true. I thought, finally, we can have a conversation, and my friends and I, and people will admit to things they've been hiding because they thought they'd be judged. And now we're back. And that's why I wrote this book. But it's fun. It's a page turner. It's a beach read. You're going to like it, even if you don't intend to.
Oh, I love that. You're going to love it. You're going to like it even if you don't intend to. Well, because when you do meet, because here's the thing too. I mean, I'm stammering so much. Forgive me. When I've met people recently, when I've met people, I'll just go somewhere. It doesn't make a difference. Library, I don't care, and someone else strike up a conversation. If you get somebody who goes, oh yeah, you know what though, boy, those queer people, they're really, especially like those transgenders, are really messed up. I appreciate being able to go, oh, actually, I transitioned gender, and then you can see somebody kind of, well, how much do I have to roll back here? What all was I saying? But then they go, I don't know, you seem normal. I mean, as normal as no,
right?
Like I'm not really normal, but like I love
but
those
you're not
moments.
Average, because nobody is.
Right, exactly. But I love those moments. You have people who go, oh, dang, well, I guess I have to rethink this. I've had a lot of people say, well, you have purple hair. It's not like I can trust anybody with purple hair. You must be dumb. Then I'll go, oh, well, here's my educational background. And they'll go, well, I got to rethink this.
Right.
I think that's important. I think it's important to have those stories, particularly in our climate right now.
And it was a tough execution. I don't know if you haven't seen the book yet. Well, one of the people that I thank is Ida Viloria, who is a very famous advocate and author of the intersex community. She was on Oprah and Phil Donahue, and she's written 2 wonderful books. And she consulted with me. And the thing that she worried about was, it's like when the Cosby Show came out, and you now have a Black family on television with 2 professional parents who are not experiencing the difficulties that come with having dark skin. And she worried about that. Like, you're making this such a fun book. She loved the book. You're making it so fun, but you're not mentioning what Georgie goes through. Well, that's not true. I do mention it. I beefed it up more, the bullying that he goes through because of her ideas on it. But it was a tough thing to execute, to walk that line.
Mm-hmm. And just to make sure I understand too, especially when you put the Cosby Show out there, and I was like, oh yeah, I mean, it was a big, huge thing, right? You have a whole Black family, right? But you're right. The dad was a doctor, right? I think he was an MD. I can't remember what the mom did,
She
but
was an
you're right.
attorney.
It's like,
She was an attorney.
get out of town. Okay. So you're right. They would not have experienced some of what other people do. I'm amazed that I never saw that. That I didn't see that, you've reframed this now in a way that I go, oh yeah, was it a breakthrough, or was it bringing black actors into the mainstream, which is much different. Much different. So do I understand what you're saying there? So what you were trying to do was not necessarily just go, look, here's an here's a great character. Oh, and he's intersex, but rather to portray the intersex experience in a way that was that would honor the experience and not just make it mainstream, sort of like the Cosby Show. Is that what you were saying?
The choice was deliberate. Because, as I say, you can't argue, you can't say that someone is making a choice when they're born that way.
Sure.
And, I don't know, there's like 28 different, last time I looked, ways that doctors can measure being in between. And I believe as science becomes more and more sophisticated, there will be more ways to measure. But you got yeah.
If you want a quick number, as of about early 2000s, there are about 1,200 identified intersex characteristics. Most of them not observable, having to do more with endocrinology, biochemistry.
Right.
It's reactions to hormonal reactions more than anything. So having to do with gene expression more than anything else. There are a ton of we're calling them intersex. Not necessarily accurately, because it's just human biochemistry. You don't have male biochemistry and female biochemistry. There's only one biochemistry that we actually share with, like, cats, and many other things. Cats, other primates, dogs, trying to come up with other fun ones, and I'm not. But anyway, so yeah, there's a lot of ways to that we look at human characteristics in particular and call them different because they should be expressed by somebody else. So I'm sorry, that was my interjection.
I love that you're a scientist. This is so validating.
So you were talking about Georgie. I apologize. I totally derailed you. Had to give you a genetics course because that's what I do, apparently.
My character becomes so real to me. It's like, he's one of my sons at this point. So Maeve knows that she is not attracted to, and she's so focused on making it, on becoming a photographer, that it's not a problem for a while until she meets Georgie. And she is just gaga. And if you read the book, you'll see why. And he's fortunate. His parents were very, very concerned about him. They wanted him to be safe because the world that we lived in. Now, the book takes place in 1972 at the Jersey Shore in Asbury Park for a reason. It was a world where being different was dangerous. Any kind of different was dangerous. And so everybody was busy. I was born in 1955, the height of conformity. And even though the Summer of Love had happened, the counterculture was rearing. I mean, not among the Irish Catholics, I can tell you that. There was a huge backlash. Yeah. And so Georgie knew that he was a performer. That's just what he was born to do. So he went to Asbury Park because there's tons of work. It's the year before Springsteen, by the way. So it's not. All the musicians are in play. All the artists are in play. All the lifestyles are in play. He's around. I had to get permission from him to publish the book. But
wow.
Yeah. But it wasn't the focus in 72. It was more that people came from all over to experience this unique culture, which spawned some incredible artists, as we know,
Obviously,
right?
yeah. So, okay, no, keep going. Keep telling me because I got to tell you, I mean, the name Asbury Park. I'm like, well, sure. I mean, there was a lot of stuff going. It's. I don't know that I would put it quite in the same category as like Haight Ashbury type of area, but it was like the kind of thing that you go, well, yeah, obviously an artistic center. Like, what else was going on? I mean, obviously music.
Music had always been, and even though
Okay.
in 72, as I said, it was dangerous. I mean, you didn't want to walk around the back streets by yourself. And this is
Okay.
where my background comes in, because in my life, being alone as a young person, who are the people that walked with me? It was the others who were disaffected for various reasons,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
that's
we
my
stick
experience.
together, don't
Yeah.
we?
But no, the music scene was such that there's this circuit. There's a road right on the ocean, and then it
Okay.
makes a big rectangle, and people would come. It sounds so stupid to say it, but they would come just to drive this rectangle around and around. They'd be dressed up. They'd have
Okay.
maybe it was their fancy car, or maybe they borrowed their dad's, but they were dressed up as bikers and Superfly and just all kinds of folks. But they're
Nice.
there because every venue had music. And
Wow.
a lot of the people who are famous now, personally my favorite is Stevie Van Zandt. Bruce Springsteen, all the players, they would go from one venue and be one configuration, and then they go around the corner and play with another group. They could play
I didn't.
constantly.
Wow. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was far enough away from the city. You'd think, well, it's Jersey, you should just go to the city. Well, it costs a lot of money even then to do that. And it was far enough away that they became their own center.
Oh, sure.
And they were building on like Count Basie. That whole crew would play there
Oh
at
my gosh.
at the height. And then
Yeah.
we had a musician called Gary U.S. Bonds, who, if you listen to him, and he's on my playlist. I have to have playlists when I do author events.
Yes.
Listen to him. You can hear the shore sound. It was incubating then.
Yeah.
Southside
Yeah.
Johnny, all those guys, they studied all this, and they played constantly. And but they're all in the thick of it. They're all in the mix in this story. And of course, Maeve, my character who wants to be a photographer, what a dream for her to be embraced by the music scene.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
The other artists as well. I mean, other kinds of artists as well. But the music scene is what really stuck with her. And of course, Georgie was a musician, so.
Right. I got it. You had mentioned earlier, and I said, "Oh, no, let's start recording before I ask this question." Maeve O'Connor. You said there's a specialness to it. Maeve, of course, is I mean, obviously an Irish name, but has roots that go really far back, right? The
Yes.
fairy queens, it's a lot of fairy culture.
It's a royal
attributed to it.
name. It's the most royal of the surnames of the septs. And I chose it for Maeve because in 1972, I know what it was to fight, to be yourself, to even figure out, how to be yourself. And that's my little secret, my little secret story behind the story is here she is, the most royal, and her parents are fighting her all the way.
Yeah. Why did you choose the name Maeve? Out of curiosity?
It's just really Irish. It's a real Irish name.
I mean, yes. I saw it is spelled, it's spelled as they're spelling it now. You don't have a BH or
No, no.
an
I
MH.
considered Siobhan,
Okay.
Siobhan.
Yeah.
But in the end, I'm telling you, these characters become real to me. And,
Yeah.
it's like she stood up and said, nope, my name is not Siobhan.
My name is Maeve.
Yes.
I like that. I like that. Does she have? I mean, because I'm thinking of, in no, Romeo and Juliet. I think there's a whole bit about Queen Mab, as they end up spelling it, which had been changed from would normally have been spelled Mabh or like a derivative of Maeve. I think it's a Romeo and Juliet where they talk about Queen really Maeve,
Yeah.
but a fairy queen who comes and helps you get dreams or nightmares, depending upon whether you're paying tribute to the fairies appropriately. Does she have aspects? Does she have a sort of a fairy sort of aspect to her?
Well, she is an outlier from the get-go. She's 6 feet tall. She has a
Oh
shock
gosh.
of curly, bright red hair that is uncontrollable. And so she just always keeps it up in kind of a top knot, and
Yeah.
she puts her pencils in there because
my
she's
gosh.
always taking notes for her photography pieces.
Yeah.
And she dresses, she wears collared shirts where her mother wants her to wear taffeta. I mean, she's the only daughter. She has 5 brothers. And so she's her mother's only shot at producing a good little Irish Catholic girl.
True.
But she's not,
Very
she's
true.
not little, right? And she
No.
doesn't want to go there. She has no desire to get married.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Now I got to read this. I'm sorry I didn't read it before.
Oh, I hope you do, and I hope you'll write to me afterwards.
Yeah. Oh no, I definitely will. I will definitely read it. Everything that we've talked about at this point, I'm like, if I would be a fool not to read this, because I think it really plays into so many things that I find very important now in today's world. Can we talk about you just a little bit? I'm good.
Sure.
Is that okay? So you're an author and an artist. I mean, what other art do you do? Let me ask that question first.
I have, by the time it took me 6 years to work my way through a bachelor's degree.
Okay.
And I was just interested in surviving,
Of course.
Survival was very difficult for a skinny little white girl. I got a job. My very first job when I was abandoned was at a lunch counter. And I could not pay my room rent and eat.
Oh.
So I became more open. And I'll tell you, here's another place where the folks in the neighborhoods saved me. Because I could easily have fallen prey to prostitution. When you're hungry, you will. Do we say that anymore? Sex trade, sex workers.
I guess we say sex worker now, but I know what you were talking about.
Okay,
So,
and that's what we would have called them back then.
Yeah.
So I was approached. This sounds so implausible, but it actually happened. I was approached outside the science building, one of my courses, by the manager of a club that the Chicago mob owned.
Oh boy.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
this is my first novel, by the way, Fading Past, if you're interested. Because the first novels are always autobiographical,
Yeah, sure.
right? So they were looking for smart girls who were pretty. They dressed us up like Bond girls.
Oh my gosh.
And they're dealing heroin in the kitchen.
Sure.
There's literally ticker tapes. Do you remember what those were? They were
I do.
gambling.
Like the stock tick. Okay. No, maybe not. I thought they were like stock tickers, right? Or
No, they were machines that kept track of the betting. And they were in the basement.
Okay.
And then all varieties of sex workers were available to. But my job was to make change, serve the correct drinks. In other words, get them in the door. It was a kink
Sure.
club. So men paid every month for the password that month. And that's the only way you could get in. Yeah. So, well, I took the job because I needed the money. It was maybe not great money by today's standards now, being a 70-year-old woman, owning a home and that kind of thing. But it was the way I could feed myself. And I did.
Sure.
So I'm not sure where I'm going with this, but except to say that who kept my moral compass were those people in those neighborhoods who saw how hard I was trying and who always talked about education, always.
Okay. I originally asked what other art do you do?
Oh, okay. I'm not sure if I went up on that. Oh, I know.
It was a great story. I love it.
Well, all right. So the reason I wound up a math teacher was I could do it in less time. I knew I was good at mathematics. This was a commodity I could trade.
Sure.
I could always make a living at it. And I did teach math for 40 years. But I was the closet artist. I was the girl singer in a country swing band. I was, and we toured all the East Coast.
Wow.
I'm a mixed media, painter. My first degree was in photography. So all the parts that Maeve does, I know very, very well. And then once I was able to actually let go of classroom teaching, I published my first book at 60.
Okay. So photography then. Photography was one of your first loves.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm going to tell you, by the way, when I was in graduate school, so this would have been early 1990s, we had a dark room. And there was a graduate student who went on, I don't know, graduated, did something else, who knows. The point was, though, we had the dark room because we needed it because it was the way that we took us some data. It does make a difference. And because I couldn't remember what the technique was. Low energy electron diffraction is what it is. Who cares? Right. Anyway, we needed somebody who could develop film. And so I learned, and then I bought a camera, and then I was taking pictures all over. There was a graveyard in Athens, Georgia that had people who were born in the 1600s, believe it or not. And I was taking pictures. I loved photography. It was so much. In fact, actually, wrong hand. This picture here, which you can't see, is of my wife about 20 years ago. No, 23, 24 years ago. But I took the photographs and then I developed them and then I printed them and I've had that ever since. So I love photography.
You'll love the parts about, because she's very talented and she knows how to manipulate light and film development.
Right. We don't learn those things now. Now we go, well, I got Photoshop.
Although, at farmers markets and so forth, I'm seeing young people buying film cameras.
Really? Oh, that's awesome.
Now, sometimes they do the whole thing where they actually develop the film and then the paper. But sometimes they do the film and then scan them and manipulate it that way.
Yeah,
but there is sort of a renewed interest. I'll tell you the reason I do that anymore is simply I'm afraid of the chemicals at this point.
Oh, yeah. Right.
How
much silver nitrate? Yeah, I mean, how much silver nitrate do you want to expose yourself to, right?
Exactly.
That's awesome.
Age, that's for sure.
Oh, not at mine either. But that was supposed to be a lead-in too, because you've mentioned that art, especially with Maeve's character. Sorry, I'm struggling to say this too. Especially with Maeve's character, art is her gateway to figuring herself out. Mm-hmm. Was that autobiographical? Did you see art as the way that you ended up sort of creating who you were and making it real in the world?
I've
This
had a
is well
couple
put.
really incredible speaking engagements for this book. Book Soup on Sunset Boulevard. I've got the poster where I'm sandwiched. You know, they have the different events, and I'm sandwiched between Rob Reiner and Matthew McConaughey.
Jeez,
It's right next to my desk, hanging on the wall.
I bet. Rob
The
Reiner,
other
tough
one
act
that
to
was so
follow.
so
Ooh.
meaningful was Thunder Road Books. Thunder Road being a Springsteen song, and Down on the
Oh,
South Beach
right.
Drag being a Springsteen lyric. Of
Yeah.
course, it was a natural fit, and they had me down. And many people from a theater company we started when I was 14. We thought it would last a summer, and it
Yeah.
lasted over 20 years.
Wow. Oh
The,
my
the,
gosh.
the students would just mentor the younger ones, and they would take it over. And it was, I mean, largely,
That's
we
great.
did everything. We would hang like hardware store lights by twist ties from the ceiling
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
our school lights. Well, a bunch of them came to Thunder Road Books. And my brother was kind enough to do a luncheon at his house after us. We had a long
Okay.
time to talk. And we talked about how we see it now, how we chose each other. We could find, some people call it, you know, you find your tribe.
Yeah.
Well, we were finding each other. Now, how did we know? There must have been just little clues here and there. But that is how we found ourselves. And I want to say to all the football players in my high school, I think we turned out to be the coolest. You know, we got, you know, bullied and mocked and so forth in high school. But in the end, we just have a blast together. And we're still very interested in life.
Yeah. Yeah. I have the feeling because I'm thinking about the football players in my high school. I'm thinking about football players in your high school now too. All of those people probably have pop bellies, no hair, and you're talking to me, which I think is already pretty much it's the indication they've fizzled out really quickly, and you were the cool one.
I think when I'm together with, and we had some of us, I hadn't seen one fellow who we've reconnected.
Oh
We
wow.
used to always be cast against each other, right? We
Yeah.
always
Okay.
be on the field. I hadn't seen him in 55 years, and we just hit it off. I mean, we just have a
Really.
lot in common, and part of it is
Yeah.
using the arts to, you know, when you're acting, you can pretend to be somebody else. You can play with that.
Oh sure.
I wouldn't say the visual arts is my strong suit. I do sometimes dream of paintings, and then I have to produce them. But writing, oh my God, creating my characters for Down on the South Beach Drag made me realize how each of my non-average experiences in my life, or what would be called an outlier experience, each of them meant so much to me because I'm drawing on that
Yeah.
to have Maeve and Georgie fall in love. And she has two wonderful friends who are a gay couple, and to draw on all the folks I have known in my life, been lucky enough to know.
So your self-discovery has been the entire life. It's your
Absolutely.
whole story. It's your whole story.
And it really did take me 70 years to get here,
Yeah.
because I did struggle with the mortal sin
Sure.
to find my place as a woman of faith that does not buy it. I don't buy it, finally, the rules that, you know, Catholicism was preaching, and then all the other, you know, parts of what makes us human. What you said on that podcast I watched, something that I love. See if I can find it.
Wait, something I said? Uh-oh.
Yeah, sex is not just about a physical relationship. So we're talking about something so much deeper. I mean, it is a characteristic of caring, but it's
Yes.
not all about that. This culture is obsessed with just making everything about sex when it really should be about connection and caring.
Yes. So true. Well, and I love this. Oh, hi, somebody in the
There's
background.
my husband. I'm sorry, honey. I'm on
Hello.
podcast. he's gonna bring the dog now.
That's fun.
He's so good. He's the best dog father in the world. He takes them all on these special walks. We usually have
I love
3
that.
rescue dogs, but we just lost one, so we're down to 2.
Oh my gosh. Generally 3 rescue dogs.
Well, we joke that, the 3 boys, each time they left home, we replaced them.
Just put it to get a new dog, right? I mean, I guess I can see that. I don't know what I was going to say. Oh, it had to do with connection. I adore that. I think we do want to isolate ourselves, because by isolating ourselves, I'm just going to say it flat out. I think by isolating ourselves, we'll end up saying it's okay if I acquire and acquire and acquire and step on other people, dump on other people in order to acquire. In order to be okay with that, we have to cut ourselves off from connection, because otherwise we'll care about people. And we're going to go back to that same point that you made right at the very beginning. If we love somebody, we can't hate them. So I love this. Thank you. What a great point.
A friend was saying about otherness. And honestly, when my friend said it, I hadn't really taken that term in yet. Maybe I heard it, but I didn't really think about how common it's becoming. And they said, I think it's like it's like the wolf at the door. If we cast somebody as other, then we're protecting ourselves from some kind of danger.
Yes.
It's a primal thing, this friend was saying.
Yes. Yeah.
I hadn't thought about it that way.
And that danger is connection. I mean, you're protecting yourself from connection, right? You're protecting yourself from having to engage with the rest of the world. I don't know, which seems foolish, because you go, well, I am in this, even if you're in the United States, there's still 349 million other people here.
Right.
It's tough to cut yourself off. So I like that too. The wolf at the door. I don't remember that phrase. That's a good one.
Yeah. But it kind of makes sense. I mean, I'm not saying he's 100% right, but we fear what we don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, very much. The othering thing, I got to tell you, I don't think I recognized, because, all my life I've been, transgender and pansexual. And it wasn't until more recently that I, when somebody used the term othering, that I went, oh, is that what you call it? Right? Because I don't think I really felt it until more recently.
Right.
It seems like we've actually gotten more. Is there an adjective for this? We've got more othery, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I think the more just look at my life. When I was born, they didn't have the word gay. Nobody in
Good
my
point.
community, I promise you, was gay.
Right.
Really?
Good point.
Now, how is that possible? But then I remember the father of one of my childhood friends moved into Greenwich Village. Mm-hmm. And then the whispering, like, well, how do you put a name to that? And then, I think of the Oprah years where she accepted that, well, you can be born straight or gay. But then we learned, oh, wait a minute, there's way more to the gradation than that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Right. Well, and I guess, now I just used 2 words, transgender and pansexual, neither of which I had when I was, not feeling othered. So I guess it's kind of fascinating. Right. I'm curious if it's been, I don't know if I want to say this, but I wonder if it's because we come up with labels that we are now capable of othering people. I'm curious if, I don't want to say that if we don't have ugly
when you say
words.
capable of othering people, you mean capable of putting them in boxes, or of, is it a good
Ooh,
thing or is it bad?
dang, you asked me a hard question. How about if I say it in a bad way? Because that's going to be easier. Gosh, I don't know. Now you've just changed my mind again. Because I was thinking, usually when you think of othering, what we're trying to do is say, well, this is somebody I want to keep away from me because they are the dreaded other. They're the wolf at the door, as you had said before. And I wonder if part of that comes by having a label so that you can go, well, in the 80s, let's say, it was, it's the gay people, keep those off to the side. And then, bisexual and then metrosexual was big in the 90s going into the 2000s. They're weird. Let's get rid of them. 1991, Judith Butler had published Gender Trouble. And so we're thinking about non-binary and gender diverse by the beginning of the 2000s. So, okay, we'll push them away. And anyway, I wonder, is it just having labels? I don't think it's the label that's to blame, but it's behavior, but I don't know. And
Well,
maybe there's no answer, but
before the new administration came back, I was sort of hoping, we'd continue to identify discrete groups, mathematically discrete, that have shared beliefs, not beliefs. You're the scientist.
Characteristics, behavior, sure.
They own and talk about. Okay.
Yes.
But we had so many going that it would be like the Big Bang. It'd just explode. And my hope was that people just got to be who they were.
That's what I keep hoping too. And I made this point on where the hell was it? I don't know. I did talk to somebody recently, and I said, yeah, when I first started talking to people, specifically in the transgender community, I had somebody who said, hi, I'm, my name here. I'm Mary. I am a demisexual, transgender, lesbian, non-binary, and it was like on and on and on. It was like 20 different words. And I'm like, wow. So who are you? And the person looked at me like I'm nuts. They're like, I just listed it all off. I think I might have missed one. Let me see. There was demisexual, lesbian, transgender, non-binary. And I'm like, no, but who are you? Because you're not just the product of your labels. You're not even like the intersection of all your labels or the union or however. I'm trying to do set theory here. You're the mathematician, so help me out.
But I think it was a necessary process.
Maybe.
The declaration of various, different kinds of communities who stood up and said, we exist. I think that was absolutely, and I hope to God we're going to get there. But, I also think at different times of your life, you may exist between letters.
Yes. I agree. That's the thing. I don't, there are transgender people who are very different from me. There are pansexual people. I met somebody this weekend who said, oh, this is what I am, and that's pansexual. And I went, I have never used that word that way, but I really like it. I'm like, I would not have thought crazy because I'd read a definition and went, well, that makes sense. And now it's different. So anyway, hopefully we'll get there. Hopefully we'll get to a point where we go, I don't really care what the letters are. I don't care what your labels are. I just like you.
But maybe
hopefully we get that.
Maybe, well, listen, as a parent, I can't understand any parent who doesn't understand that a child is born fully formed.
Yeah.
And it's our job to help them discover who they are. Because
Yes.
they're already
Agreed.
there. So, whether it be my Johnny, who's the artist in Hollywood, you kids that used to bully him, because he has a, very bad eye problems and had the thick glasses, right? He was already fully formed. Just because you didn't understand him, and there's a million reasons why kids get teased and bullied.
Yeah.
But so I just don't understand. If you're a parent, you want your child to be accepted and loved and develop in a way that's healthy and wonderful for them.
Right.
But we're back to otherness now. We're back there.
Yes, exactly. So I think there's the crime right there. We will make that a mortal sin. What do you think?
Yeah.
Othering has now become a mortal
Let's
sin.
do it. Let's do that.
I am all over it. I know that you've got to go, and I'm kind of bummed. I think that's putting it mildly. I'm pretty bummed. Can you just tell us how we find you on the internet? People are going to listen to this and go, well, I got to go and get all these books and engage with you further.
Sure.
How do we do that?
Well, I have a website, and I have a lot of publicity lately, so I'm going to if you just Google Mary Kathleen Mehuron, Mehuron. I'm a Simon & Schuster author. That will all come up. Amazon, my website. And the name of the book, my most recent novel, and A Labor of Love. It's fun. It's a page turner, but it is also my small act of resistance.
Mm-hmm.
The opposite of never.
Okay. You have a Facebook page and an Instagram account.
Oh,
Are you
I
doing
should
much
say
on
that.
those?
Yes.
Well, I'll list
I'm on
them. But
Instagram and Facebook. Yes.
okay, all right.
Mary Kathleen Mehuron, Mehuron.
Okay, I will put those up there. This has been a delight. I just want to tell you, I truly appreciate the work that you're doing. I think it's very important, and I just want to honor you for your act of resistance, particularly because it pertains to me in some way. I mean, it pertains to all of us, but I appreciate what you've done. Thank you so much. I'm going to give you a little heart there, which
I
always
want to
makes me feel
say
like I'm 12.
this is the first time in my writing career that I've been asked to do a sequel. My publisher wants the sequel.
Oh,
So Georgie and me, we're coming back.
nice. So we can continue the work. It's beautiful.
Yes, and I will. Thank you for this. I'm having so much fun, and I am going to subscribe so I can stay on top of what
thank
you
you.
do.
I appreciate that.
All right.
I'll do my little shutdown here.
See the mother of my first grandchild.
Oh my gosh.
We're meeting
That's awesome.
tonight. Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, let me do a quick shutdown. I'm Amethysta Herrick. I've been speaking with Mary Kathleen Mehuron about art and self-discovery and allowing children to develop as they are. So thank you again, Mary Kathleen.